Hi there, I'm Josh Harrop, recording a video for the SOAR project. Sebastian's asked me to record here a couple of quick answers to some questions that may help you in your career choices. The first question, what study or major did I have and what profession do I have now? So my study is engineering, mechanical engineering. But I never practiced as an engineer. Towards the end of my degree, I found that I really was interested in environmental management and got into it at a stage where there wasn't that many study options back in the 90s to directly study environmental management. So I dropped the engineering more or less and went straight into applying to environmental opportunities with anything from government to consultancy and so on. So my profession, I guess, is sustainability. I've worked in different parts of the world in this space, and most recently in the energy space, oil and gas, where I was working up until 2020. The last couple of years since then, I've taken the opportunity to do things more entrepreneurial, and I'm working on my own project in conservation and decarbonisation. What path led you to the profession I have now? I think if I was to give advice on this rather than an answer, I'd say set yourself a direction, but don't necessarily expect to follow it. Follow your inspiration as you go down that way. I started off sending out 60 or 70 CVs to various environmental type roles, but with a mechanical engineering degree. It wasn't a surprise I didn't get too many answers. And eventually landed a place. First I took a temporary role as a city engineer, and that had an element of environmental, but also of government. And then I was able to get a role a little bit easier, I think, in pure environmental stuff with the government. So permitting, pollution response, responding to pollution and investigating it, and doing research, for example, on stormwater quality and things like that. After government, I went overseas from New Zealand, went to UK and worked in global consulting, ending up in all sorts of countries in the world, doing all sorts of things that I wasn't necessarily trained for or even anticipating, but nevertheless, awesome experience. And after consulting into the corporate world, which is a different world again. So 3 different worlds, and then more recently in the entrepreneurial world and doing a little bit of individual consulting. What courses did you take as a student that are most useful in your profession? After starting in the environmental space with government, I arranged with them to do a little bit more flesh out in the area of waste management, because I was working in that space a little bit with permitting and the like. So I went off to university and just did a couple of papers on that. But in terms of other courses, most of what came after there was in the on-the-job training, actually. So with government, you do all sorts of stuff, investigation training, things like that. With consultancy, less so. It's a tight environment, you'll find, if you get in that space. And with corporate, all manner of different things, from Six Sigma, lean sort of methodologies, and through to auditing courses and whatever it may have been. But yeah, a mix of on-the-job experience and on-the-job job-based training as well. And more recently, I've reached out and done some, asked to be able to sit in on university courses to plug some gaps with conservation. And I'm doing a master's in conservation at the moment as well, to give more credibility to what hopefully is a scalable project, and also to plug some gaps, make some networks, all that sort of stuff, and help document that project a lot better. What do you enjoy most about your profession? I mean, if I talk about my profession, about my career, I think it's taken me to some incredible places. I've worked in 40 different countries directly, physically, and obviously more virtually. And those places have been extremes, from the Arctic to the jungle. So I think the sustainability space and the energy space both tend to take you to these quite adventurous places. Also a challenge, a lot of travel. And also I think in the sustainability space in particular, you get a very multidisciplinary exposure. You meet a lot of different people doing a lot of different things, and so it's good one. It may even take you on a different tangent as you meet all of these people and think, I might want to do this. And then the final question here, coming up to 5.5 minutes, is what are some challenges you face at your profession? I think in sustainability, there's a bunch of different ways you can approach this. You could be in a very much in a MBA style job where you're actually just managing a business in a sustainable way. You're not a biologist or whatever. Or you could be more on the actual, I'm a biologist or an expert in air pollution or whatever, a technical person. And you could rise that channel to for example, a technical, high level of technical expertise or team management and so on. I think the challenge is if you go into the more, hey, I went to university and studied the sustainability side and whatever. I think the challenge is it's a role of influencing people and agendas, and I would caution not to go in there thinking, hey, I'm gonna fix their problems or stop them saving the world. The idea is you're got to be part of a team. You've got to help people understand and see opportunities as well as just dangers and risks, and you've got to be an enabler. And that at the same time, you're in this because you want to do something good, so you don't want to simply be an enabler of bad practices. So the challenges are really to influence people in a direction that you feel comfortable with and that you feel rewarded by in terms of how much you're contributing and sustainability. There's also, of course, all sorts of other things. There's competing agendas, costs and things like that you'll come across. But I think that's the key one, is how do you insert yourself into that agenda in a way that you're embraced by the rest of the corporate world and are still able to have a real impact. That's all from me. I look forward to seeing how the SOAR resource is received, and good luck.